Second thing that I find very, very helpful is to take a spot in time and see where all the players are. And really the tools that I find the most helpful during this period of time are things that just tell me where the volume is and where the players are. And both of these tools are doing that. So VWAP is doing that on a volume weighted average basis, hence VWAP. Volume profile, I use anchored. You can use fixed because fixed will give you a fixed time. Anchor will anchor from a time, and then from that anchor, it will keep going. Where anchor moves, fixed is, say it with me, fixed. Yay. So what I tend to do is I find the peak because to me, and this is for short-term trading, not long-term trading. Short-term trading and working off the bottoms, this is what I do. Long-term, not so much. So it's a little different for that. And we can do it in another video, but I want to see where everybody is. And I would say, yeah, I mean, it's not really telling me anything from that peak. All right, I might have some problems at 406, 407. The other thing that I do is I'll take it and I'll drop it from the bottom and say, show me where everybody is from the bottom. So I'm going to clean this all off again, and I'm going to say this again. And I can do this with any stock. I didn't even start with these or think that I was going this way. So I drop it from the bottom and say, or the top, is there anything there that's of interest? Am I near any levels yet? No. I might get there eventually, but right now, no. And again, this is shorter term. Longer term, I do something different, but then I drop it from here. Second, let me open this up so that you can see it. Then I drop it from here. And what I'm doing from there is then I want to watch those levels. But when I drop in time frames, this tends to move. So what I want to do, so you see where the point of control is? So I tend to drop these lines down because sometimes this stuff seems to move for me. So I want to know where that is. And so what this is doing for me is this is telling me where everybody is on that low. Look at what else it's doing right here with that value high area. It's telling me where everybody is off that low. So I know that if I'm going to pull back, I know that this level, which also just happens to tie into, you guessed it, right around here, I know that this level is huge. So let's say Monday morning we got down. I want to be a buyer right here. I want to buy the heck out of it because not only do I have the value high area, but I also have this VWAP in there. So for example, on Microsoft 370, I'm loaded for bear in this kind of market right now, barring some like news where they're just going to put 700% tariffs on Microsoft alone for some reason. But you get where I'm going with this. All things being equal at this particular place in time, that's what you're doing. So, and it doesn't matter the name. Let's take Amazon, for example, and do this with Amazon. We would know that we would have the VWAP from there, right, as well. And it doesn't matter. We'll just drop it real quick. And we can see how it tested. Then you can see how it tested on Friday. See how it held on Friday over and over again. This is what you want to do. I'll have these charts prepared for the week ahead videos going forward because of this particular time and where we're at, like the top 10 that I'm looking at. But the important thing about these educational classes and this community is that you're supposed to learn to be able to do this for yourself. So you don't rely on anyone. And then you bring up the next generation that comes in the room. So 237 right here, and you would see that that really is like that kind of peak area. That one's a little off. And so what you're doing here is we're going to click on this, and then you watch that, and you're like, all right, so that's 200. So not only is 200 a big level here that we know, but also that's right around where the anchored VWAP would be. So that's the first thing that we would do, right, when we do this, and we mark the low as well. But we would also just take the peak right here, and we would just drop a pin. And we start with the high, and you will note the difference between what we just did with Microsoft and where Microsoft was focused, and you'll note the difference between where Amazon was focused. Now, why is that important? Why do you care about that? So like when you're looking at something like this, I'll show you why. So when you're looking at something like this and like the 55's up here and you're at like 208 and these are all screaming down, and then you look at something like a Microsoft and you're seeing like your level right here, 396, and then I overlay something like that. Most people are using lagging indicators that have no premise on where the stock is at this particular time and price. And what I mean by that is using longer term moving averages coming off a bottom. Yeah, they give you an area to look. But if you're trying to time a bottom and you're trying to do it that way, it's a huge mistake. There's one reason why I keep bringing this up with the 5, but I'm going to show you how you should be using them now and the best way to use them. But what you want to do with this kind of stuff is you just want to mark off and go, okay, well, what's going on in this little area? Like what's really happening here, right? And again, you can mark it off like that, but really what's optimal is from a peak is to find levels, right? The optimal would be, hey, can this peak give me levels right now that I'm near? And so when you see this, you're looking at this and going, oh, well, there's the value low. We closed on it. We broke in. We hit point of control. Oh, well, that makes sense why it stopped. Okay. All right. Well, there's the value low. And then we broke the value low and closed over it again. All right. So now you already know where your target is. And now you know where your second target would be if you close over this, right? And then you know how that's all going to tie into, you guessed it, up here, right? So you already know where your targets are by doing this, coming off of a bottom, okay? And you can do that and then overlay those levels and put them on like a 5-minute or a 15, or some weird people use a 3, whatever you want to use. It doesn't really matter.